Good morning and welcome to the Nassau County Minority Business Resource Webinar. I'm Catherine Fee, Chief Marketing Officer and Director of Business Development for the Nassau County Industrial Development Agency. And I am excited to see hundreds of registrants signed up to learn about local and state resources. If time allows, we will be taking questions at the end of the webinar. Please feel free to submit questions during the presentation using the Q&A option on your computer or tablet. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce the chairman of the Nassau County IDA, Richard Kessel.
Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate all the work that you and staff have done to set this up together. I want to welcome everyone. Good morning. This is a great day, a beautiful day, and it's important that we all reach out to help small businesses, particularly minority business owners in Nassau County. I've had the pleasure to head the IDA. We have a board. We have 6 other people on our board, and we're working very closely with Nassau County to promote small businesses and to help them, especially during these very, very difficult times. And I've had the pleasure to work closely with my good friend, Nassau County Executive Laura Curran. Laura has just done a fabulous job in helping businesses recover from COVID and this pandemic. And we set up a number of programs jointly to work with the county executive and her team to help minority and small businesses during these difficult times. And that's going to continue into the future. And I want to thank my board and my staff for working with us and the county executive and her staff to help small businesses. We're there for you. And with that, I'd like to introduce our friend, Nassau County Executive Laura Curran.
Richie, thank you very much for that introduction. Thank you for your partnership. There's so much to talk about. I'm going to keep my remarks as concise as possible, but I just want to start out by saying, I was saddened by the news this morning about the death of Vernon Jordan, a civil rights leader who then, obviously, we all know, went on to become incredibly influential in business, in the boardrooms, and in politics for decades. I had the opportunity to meet Vernon Jordan when I was quite young. It was at a crowded event. And, I went up to him, I introduced myself, and he took the time to really just talk to me, zero in on me, which I was so touched and so flattered. Really just an amazing, kind, and incredibly influential person, really left this world a better place. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. I also wanted to acknowledge this amazing panel that we have today. We have Richie, as you know, from the IDA. We have Lewis Warren, who is an IDA member, Lionel Chitty, who is our Office of Minority Affairs Executive Director, and our partners in business, Phil Andrews from the Long Island African American Chamber of Commerce, Daniel Lloyd of Minority Millennials. We had so much fun doing a podcast. Actually, it was a webcast that we did over Zoom. Seems like 100 years ago, but I guess it was in the height of the pandemic. Terry Arnold McKenzie, who with Ascend Long Island, partnership with Hofstra. Teresa Sanders, who's president of the Urban League of Long Island. And we have Ryan and Raphael from the state giving us their perspective. So let me just jump right into a little bit of what we've been working on here in Nassau County. So very early on, we saw that we were going to have parallel tracks during this crisis back in March, a year ago, the health crisis and the economic crisis. We knew that we had to do everything we could to get testing in hard hit communities, to get information out there. We had texting in multiple languages just to give everyone updates. We had, hundreds of thousands of people sign up for those. And we also did everything we could to support our businesses because we knew that people weren't going to be able to work in the way that they were, that businesses needed help. So Richie was very helpful with this. The IDA was very helpful with this in starting up an economic advisory council made up of hospitality industry, developers, labor, nonprofits, mom and pop shops, chambers, you name it. So many stakeholders helping me be informed about what they were experiencing, what they were recommending, what they needed. And then I could advocate to the state, or I could, whatever policies we had control over locally. we could make sure that we were helping them as much as we could. You know, I've been a big fan of trusting business leaders and knowing that they're natural problem solvers and that they can sort these things out. They can make their workplaces safe for customers, for employees, and they've proven it. When we look at our contact tracing, we're not tracing it back to restaurants, hardly at all. Business gyms, teeny tiny amounts. Other mom and pop shops, hardly at all. It's really those social gatherings. So making the case for business has been incredibly important to me and to my administration. Working with the IDA, I want everyone to know there is still some loan money left for our Boost Nassau program. This is for smaller businesses, women and minority owned businesses. And I was just speaking with Richie earlier. It's estimated that about 35% of these loans for small businesses have gone to MWBEs. We really did a lot of outreach. I have to thank Lionel Chitty in the Office of Minority Affairs for their amazing outreach, getting information out to people through any way that we could, especially when we're not networking at parties and things like that. I just have to point out something else. Nassau County does about $1 billion with a B dollars a year in business with outside contractors and vendors. And a lot of these vendors had been shut out. There was a fee that they had to pay. We got rid of the fee. We've done aggressive outreach. And I just want to give you a statistic. Approximately 42% of newly registered businesses, people who register to do business with the county, 42% of those new businesses last year in 2020 were either MWBE or service disabled veterans. That's compared to about a dozen. Am I right about that? Yeah, there were less than a dozen 2 years earlier. So again, it shows if you do serious outreach and people start to trust you, then they sign on to you. I think that's incredibly important. We've noticed that with health disparities as well. I know this is more of a business discussion, but I just have to talk about the health disparities. We saw very early on, there was a disproportionate impact in minority communities, especially in death from COVID. We saw that as soon as the state started breaking out that demographic data back on April 8th. So we targeted testing in Elmont, in Westbury, in Freeport, Hempstead, and in Roosevelt. And we saw when we did the testing and then we communicated about the testing that the rates actually went down. COVID rates actually went down relative to the county average. So when you target and when you communicate and when you have trusted messengers and when people start to trust you, you do get results. So we're going to keep working. We have a lot more to do. We know that the hospitality industry was terribly impacted by this pandemic for obvious reasons, hotels, tours, all of that sort of thing. So we launched a restaurant recovery grant. A grant, it's not a loan, a grant of either $5,000 or $10,000 to restaurants. Now, of course, many of our restaurants are locally owned, minority owned, immigrant owned, and it's open. Actually, we reopened it. We had a little money left over. So if you are interested, you can go to nassaucountyny.gov/restaurant recovery. By the way, I talked about those loans that we're working with the IDA on. Still some grant money left there. That's boostnassau.net if you want more information. All right. My problem is I can go on and on. So I think I'm going to stop here. I'm going to turn it back over to the program, but I will be hanging out and listening. So thank you for the time. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. I say it all the time. I really mean it. We're in this together. We sink or swim together. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. And it's great to have you. And it is a great partnership between the IDA and you and Evelyn Simmis and Helena Williams and your whole team. And I think it's important for people to know that because of your efforts working with Senator Kaminsky, Assemblywoman Judy Griffin, that the IDA, at least temporarily, has the ability to give loans and grants out. And because of your efforts, we actually wound up giving out close to 5,000 PPE kits to small businesses, many of them minority owned. And it was a very successful program. We partnered with the town of Hempstead and the county. And we are going to look to do other programs as we begin to come out of this pandemic. And that's critically important. So I want to thank you for your efforts. It's just a pleasure working with you and your staff. I'm going to introduce my good friend, Lewis Warren. Lewis works, he's the Vice Chairman and Managing Director of Government Banking at JP Morgan Chase. He was appointed actually around the same time that I was appointed to the IDA. He's been an enormous friend and partner. In fact, Lewis, I have to just tell the secret that Lewis's wife, Lisa, worked with me at the Long Island Power Authority years ago, and we didn't even know it when we first met each other. Lewis has been a great contributor, along with my other board members, people like Amy Flores, who's worked so hard. And I want to thank them for all of their efforts, because without a good board and a good staff, led by Harry Coughlin, my CEO, we couldn't have accomplished all this. So with that in mind, I want to introduce Lewis Warren, a board member of the IDA. Lewis?
Thank you, Richie. As I kick off my comments this morning about the Nassau County IDA, I did want to start with saluting our county executive, Laura Karen. She's been a marvelous advocate in my time over the last 2 years with the IDA of looking out for and encouraging and promoting minority businesses across the entire Nassau County footprint and our communities. I also want to commend Chairman Kessel, who it's been an honor to serve on our IDA board with for the last couple of years, because I can't think of anyone who is as tireless and as focused on creating jobs in Nassau County. And I'll come on to some slides and some pages to talk specifically about what we do as an IDA, what opportunities and resources and tools are there for all of our businesses across the island, but specifically Nassau County, and how we can support minority businesses in particular. Let me just kick off on the first slide here. It's a little technical, but all of the IDAs in the state, New York State, are organized and set up by the state. We are state chartered institutions. The only point I wanted to, and the reason I wanted to flag this, because as we come on in a few moments, there are businesses that we can support. So as you start to think about Nassau County IDA, we typically support businesses that are selling or business to business organizations, manufacturers, distributors, wholesalers, real estate businesses, and I'll highlight that. It's important because there are some restrictions for retail operations, except for a couple of exemptions. But having said that, there is some grant money that we'll talk about for small businesses across Nassau County. One other point, that the Nassau County IDA is funded 100% by transaction fees. And I'll talk about why that's important. The mission of the IDA, as you'll see, we absolutely are focused on creating jobs, particularly for companies that are in Nassau County today. As they grow, they expand, but also we attract, we market to companies all over the U.S. And particularly in the Northeast, when they're considering other places to add a facility, to add a distribution hub, a manufacturing facility. So our focus is on attracting new companies to Nassau County, and to assisting our current businesses as they expand. Okay, what are our services? Now, this is a little complex, but it's important as we sort of talk about how we can help businesses and how we can specifically help minority businesses. Financial assistance principally are in 3 buckets of our help. Let's start at the bottom: sales and use tax exemptions, savings on mortgage recording taxes. So as a business expands, as a business comes into the county, our biggest tool is probably a structured tax payment called a pilot. So you'll hear when folks talk about going to the IDA for tax assistance. What we can do through our state charter and with our partnership with the county is that we can offer a structured, consistent tax table, typically for 10, 15, 20, 25 years. And that's called a pilot. That's one of our biggest tools that we have. And we'll talk about it in a moment or two. Now, what's not as well known, and I know Chairman Kessel has been advocating with County Executive Karen across the island, we have tools and resources to help nonprofit organizations as well through our LEAK organization, Local Economic Assistance Corporation, which we'll talk about in a moment. We can also help our small businesses with site selection within the county. After I come on, our fabulous head and executive director of the Office of Minority Affairs can be helpful as well as companies look to expand or want to come into the county. So site selection assistance. But the other area that our advocacy area, and I want to do a PSA for our staff, Chairman Kessel said it, we have one of the best IDA staffs in the state of New York, and I think in the entire Northeast. Our staff is here to be helpful, to share information, and to point small businesses and businesses in the right direction where there are county level resources or other resources that they can share. So what type of businesses can we support? This again might be a little technical in the retail area, but just think about this. So the first big bullet on this page is that we typically support manufacturers, distributors, wholesalers, and real estate companies. Think of it as businesses that sell service to other businesses. Okay. Now there are, when I mentioned early on that we are a general municipal IDA as chartered by the state, there are some state limitations on us supporting retail properties. However, with that, we highlight here is that if a retail project is deemed tourism or a tourism destination, we can talk to a business about that and see if we can be helpful. And if a project provides goods or services that a community typically doesn't have access to, or if a retail establishment is in a highly distressed area. I know Chairman Kessel has been a tremendous advocate for our villages and cities and our urban communities. So one of the key messages that I want to share this morning in my chat is call us. We're a resource. We can talk through these issues and to be helpful for all of our businesses, particularly our minority businesses. The last point on this page is rental housing. We do have the opportunity to support rental housing. We have been a strong advocate of affordable housing, transit area housing. We all know that if folks don't have a place to live that's affordable in Nassau County, that businesses suffer. They can't have access to their employees and to their workers. The process. So we have a multi-step process at the IDA to be able to apply for these financial tax assistance and tax programs that I mentioned earlier. Much like any other process, there's an application. There's typically a preliminary presentation before our board. Something that Chairman Kessel instituted about a year ago, a little more, is that we actually think about projects in advance of significant diligence, economic impact analysis, et cetera. So an applicant comes before us, they will talk through what their intent is, their project and preliminary terms, and we'll offer a preliminary inducement. After that, we have a fully intensive due diligence phase, economic impact analysis, public hearings, a staff report, and then that's a closing. I've been asked, how long does the process take? Sometimes it's if a manufacturer is ready to go, a developer is ready to go, it can be 3 months, it can be 6 months, but a lot hinges on how we work together and getting the information so that we can do our independent assessment. I'll just spend a minute on our local economic assistance corporation, LEAK. The point here is that we can assist nonprofit organizations. County Executive Karen talked about this, and we can assist those nonprofits and small businesses with everything from bond financing or refinancing bonds, taxes debt, and exploring additional opportunities to expand. And it's an area that we want to expand in 2021. We have had some great nonprofit deals over the last year or two, but we're looking as an IDA to expand our nonprofit assistance across the county. So COVID assistance. County Executive Karen spoke about this earlier. We have worked very closely, the Nassau County IDA, with the county. We work closely with the town of Hempstead. The point here is that we can, there's some funds left in this grant program. We can provide loans and these grant funds. We want to alert everyone to go to Boost Nassau, this Boost Nassau website to hear more. You can also reach out to us directly. We have tried to lean forward, the IDA with the town of Hempstead and Nassau County, and we have already distributed over 5,000 PPE kits to businesses. We know how tough the COVID has been to our small businesses, and we know how important it is to have the tools to kick off and get started. So here's the main point that Chairman Kessel and I wanted to leave everyone with. We at the Nassau County IDA, we have a number of tools, resources, skills, talents, and information that we want to share with our minority businesses. I salute, as you'll hear later this morning, I salute these fabulous civic organizations that we're partnering with today to get the message out. We want to support minority businesses. We want to support all of our communities in Nassau County. And we have at the Nassau County IDA a fabulous partnership with County Executive Kessel, with County Executive Karen, and our chairman, Richard Kessel. We want to do more as we look into coming out of this pandemic and as we look into 2021. So again, contact us. Our team and staff are prepared to work with all of our businesses with a special emphasis on helping our minority businesses get back on their feet and kick off as we look to the spring and the summer of 2021. Thank you. Catherine, I think I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Louis, very much. And now I'd like to introduce the Executive Director of the Nassau County Office of Minority Affairs, Lionel Chitty. Bear with me, Lionel. I'm going to ask you to unmute and start over.
That would help. Sorry about that. Thank you, Catherine. First and foremost, for myself and the entire team here at our Office of Minority Affairs, we want to thank the County Executive, Nassau County IDA, Empire State Development, the Sun Long Island African American Chamber of Commerce, Minority Millennials, and also the Urban League for joining us here today. It is extremely important that we all come together to get this information out to the constituents. First and foremost, I'll just go through a couple of items. Register with Nassau County. At the beginning of the current administration, one of the first things they did was eliminate an important barrier to small businesses, particularly MWBEs, and that's eliminating the $125 registration fee. Right now, there is no fee to register with Nassau County to do business with Nassau County. At the bottom there, you see that QR code where it says scan QR code for Nassau County vendor registration page. You scan that, you can go to the link. It's a simple form to fill out, just put in your information. And if you check off the box that you are self-identified as a minority or woman-owned business, we will be in touch with you regarding moving forward with that. Again, it was an absolutely fantastic move to make sure that we can eliminate one of those barriers to county contracting. Next, we have the Bay Park Conveyance Project. This is a $439 million project that will tremendously help the county itself as far as sewage treatment goes. And this is a New York State project. So we're looking for New York State certified MWBEs and SDVOBs. There is a 23% goal for MWBEs and a 6% goal for SDVOBs. We're continuously looking for more of those individuals, these companies, to be able to participate. We are going to be having an event on March 16th at 9 a.m. For the Bay Park Conveyance Project. Again, it's going to be a forum where the project will be explained and how to move forward to see if you can qualify. You can take a look at our website or give us a call or our Facebook page to find out more information on that. Our MWBE certifications for county procurement. My team here, Dr. Williams and Michelle Crosby, worked diligently to create what we call the MWBE app, which automates a lot of the process, a lot of that documentation that's needed to become certified as an MWBE. As we move forward with that, we encourage all MWBEs to become certified with us, which will lead into our next item, which is our disparity study. The disparity study is a ongoing project. It will take probably about a year, but we're working with Mason Tillman and Associates, the selected vendor, to put together some information. They're going to take a look back up to 5 years as to current county contracting, take a look at our policies and programs, and give us data. If that data is acceptable and we move forward with the administration and the legislators, we can then set specific goals, specific and meaningful goals for county contracting to have more participation from our MWBE community. We diligently collaborate with other Nassau County departments, such as the Office of Hispanic Affairs, Office of Asian American Affairs, our Human Rights Commission, and other state and federal agencies, including the New York State Empire Development, and also the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So we've got a lot of opportunities there to collaborate. Next slide, we're going into our small business resources, which has been mentioned numerous times, even by the county executive, our Boost Nassau Small Business Recovery Program. That's part of the New York Loan Fund. Again, boostnassau.net. We're trying to get that message out. We want more people to apply, and we're just at the tail end of solidifying an event regarding PPP and this Boost Nassau program on March 9th. And you can check our Facebook page and or call the office for more details. We also have a restaurant recovery grant program that was mentioned numerous times. That program is providing a lifeline to our full service restaurants who are working hard to meet the ongoing challenges of COVID-19. We're also working, have the opportunity to have you contact the Nassau County Bar Association. They have volunteers who have taken the time out of their busy days to be able to answer questions, any legal questions, and all matters related to legal challenges that might be faced by some local businesses. We also work with U.S. Small Business Administration. Those are the EIDL loans and also technical assistance. We're looking at we're also doing a lot of work with the Small Business Development Center, who's providing at Farmingdale, who's providing a lot of that technical assistance, helping our MWBEs get their paperwork together in order to submit for either bids and or even funding. We also have La Fuerza, which is a community development financial institute that does micro loans, but they also do some technical assistance to help businesses with documents. We also have the Long Island Development Corporation, also the Long Island Small Business Assistance Corporation, which does offer specific funding for some verticals and also technical assistance and New York State certification opportunities. We also have the Minority Business Development Agency, which is a part of the U.S. Department of Commerce, that will also look at financing opportunities. And again, that's small business technical assistance. Sometimes it's very tough to make sure all your documents and everything are filled out correctly, and they're there to assist with that. We have the Entrepreneurial Assistance Center at Hofstra University. They do small business programs and entrepreneurship programs, also with us on Long Island. We have the Entrepreneurial Assistance Program at Suffolk County Community College, which does technical assistance, small business and entrepreneurship education, and also New York State certifications. And we also have Nassau Community College, which offers ongoing entrepreneurship programs and additional training for those who are looking to move their businesses forward. That's basically it. But again, I also wanted to do a special thank you to Deputy County Executive Evelyn Simmons for her leadership and economic development and also supporting us, and also County Executive Laura Curran for her leadership and also her dedicated support to all our constituents and our MWBEs. We have our phone number there. If you need to reach out to us, 516-572-2240. Again, we know it's a lot of information, but we're here to help. Thank you. I'll turn this back over to Catherine Fee.
Thank you, Lionel. Now let's segue into our partner organizations, whom without them could not have made this webinar so successful. We will be hearing briefly from the Long Island African American Chamber of Commerce, Minority Millennials, the Urban League of Long Island, and Ascend Long Island. And now I would like to introduce President of the Long Island African American Chamber of Commerce, Phil Andrews.
Thank you. I'd like to say New York, Long Island African American Chamber of Commerce is New York State's largest African American Chamber of Commerce. In 2019, we were named the Small Business Champion for 14 counties in downstate New York, which is a tremendous opportunity. We are a membership-based organization. We lead in the area of MWBE certification and utilization. One of the things that we do is we follow the mandate of our national organization, 5 pillars: access to capital, entrepreneurial training, advocacy, contracting, and chamber development. We hosted the first ever regional chamber development conference on Long Island. We brought chambers to develop them in the areas of leadership of running the chamber. We believe that strong chambers make strong businesses. So we are embarked on chamber development. One of the things that we do, we have a variety of signature events that we had over the years. For the last 5 years, we had an annual Black History Month exhibition at Bloomingdale's, which attracted 300 people. We have the Ladies of LIAC, Women Who Shine. We also recently did a small business expo attracting businesses around the country to Long Island. And also we have done numerous MWBE certification events in-house. For the last 5 years, we were funded by the U.S. Black Chamber of Commerce in Washington. And we try to bring the type of savvy to really get the community together. We also serve on both census committees for the last census that just passed. And one of the things that's very unique about us, we are integrated into the fabric of Long Island. You know, Long Island is a very unique market, so we knew that we couldn't disturb things, but we had to work with the existing environment and resources. We are a founding member of the Suffolk County Alliance of Chambers of Commerce. We are part of the Nassau Council Chambers of Commerce. And we host who's who of one night only benefit gala where we serve as a networking function. One of the things that we do very well is that we believe that the chamber serves as a marketing function for businesses, and we are a market for people to do business with. We are recently we will be appointed to the Long Island Association Board, which is going to give us a tremendous more voice in the area of minority business development. And one of the benefits of joining the chamber, everybody knows that a Chamber of Commerce is one of the most well-known organizations in the country, and it's one of the oldest. So if you want to know anything, what's happening in the business world, call the Chamber of Commerce. We are proud to have partnered with the Nassau CountyIDA in the past. We've also partnered with the county executive on certain programs, the Office of Minority Affairs. We did an access to capital with state SBDC of Farmingdale. And many of our Chamber of Commerce members have won many of the entrepreneur awards. We've been recognized on the U.S. Senate floor by Senator John Brooks for minority business development. So we are really that organization that's really making the mark for the African American community. And just in 2019, we partnered with a global company, Wish Local, to bring products to their local stores and also increase the footprint in African American business throughout New York. And lastly, I would say also that this year has been a really tremendous year. We've recently partnered with the Customers Bank on Long Island to bring access to PPP loans. in the country. And we're nearly at the point of advocating for $3 million in loans, probably going to be more than that number coming in to minority small businesses. And we also embarked on getting the word out for PPP for 20 businesses or less. So we have really making a great footprint as a 2019 small business champion. We're going to continue to champion for minority businesses and also the region of Long Island.
Thank you, President Andrews. Now I'd like to introduce the founder and CEO of Minority Millennials, Daniel Lloyd.
Thank you, Catherine, and good morning. I just want to take the time to say thank you to the Nassau County IDA, Nassau County Executive Laura Curran, and as well as the Office of Minority Affairs and Administrative and staff, and for including us in this very important conversation. And we always like to just kick off with a very important but general question, and that is, are you truly ready for the future of Long Island? You can skip to the next slide. On Long Island and across the world, as you see, a seismic shift is happening. The minority is becoming the new majority. And this rapid growth in the minority population on Long Island shows no signs of slowing down. And this will require leaders to expand their perspectives and fully understand both the internal and external forces that shape communities of color. And that's why everyone is here today. I mean, most of the people that are attending this conversation, you could go to the next slide, want to know how to expand their economic growth. And if you're a company or a real estate development agency or a manufacturer, you may be looking to diversify your talent because you understand this burgeoning demographic. And that's what our mission is. And that's what we've been able to grow. As we equip young people of color with the tools necessary to drive innovation and progress in their communities, we have been able to build a bridge to the most highly skilled, diverse talent on Long Island. And we're very excited about that. And I think that has created for us an authentic engagement for communication and as well as for emerging MWBEs. One of our programs we wanted to highlight today was our Emerging Minority Women Entrepreneurs that was established to create advanced business opportunities for the next generation of minority, millennial, and Gen Z entrepreneurs. And our members benefit from our public-private partnerships with local government, businesses, and community leaders. And one of our recent partnerships, which was very innovative, of the Babylon IDA and their economic inclusion plan, was we did a survey with Dr. Martin Cantor and the Babylon IDA to better understand the socioeconomic needs of Black and Brown millennials on Long Island. This was the first of its kind survey. And this will really help us steer what affordable housing looks like, what regional developments and economic developments look like when it comes to with regards to equitable opportunities. As this new emerging demographic for NWBEs, how can we ensure that they're really getting the procurement opportunities that is necessary out there? And this just helps the entire economic landscape of our region on Long Island. So thank you for this opportunity. I'm very excited about this conversation. And I'm looking forward to further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. And now I would like to introduce the president of the Urban League of Long Island, Teresa Sanders.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much to the Nassau County IDA for having us here this morning, and to my great friend, Nassau County Executive Laura Curran. This is a very serious matter. You know, for Urban League, we've been serving Nassau and Suffolk counties for, well over 46 years. And part of the challenge that we see is the inequities that still exist in many Black and Brown communities. And a lot of those inequities go to how do we create healthy communities, and, small businesses and the small business function within those communities are key. Those small businesses are accessible by community residents that may be challenged by age. Those businesses are accessible for job and employment opportunities for young people that are looking for their first job. So working with these small businesses, we've been able to kind of carve out a little bit of a niche, because what we hear, most of those businesses don't have the back end office support to always even be able to figure out, how do I fill out all of these applications? How do I get myself prepared for PPP loan? And then how do I ask for forgiveness of that particular loan? And how do I apply for any of these other things that are available to us? So what we've found is that trying to be the bridge as the Urban League, I'm not the content expert, because all of you are providing a lot of content expertise, but we're trying to figure out how do we connect many of these very small businesses that may be, 1 to 2 person operation. How do we connect them to the resources that are available that can help them sustain themselves? And we've had some pretty successful, public-private partnerships with some of the major banks that were able to help businesses pivot during, the COVID shutdown, because as they reopened, no one budgeted for the additional things that some of the businesses had to do. And for some of these businesses located in Black and Brown communities, we found if they were already in a precarious situation financially, sustaining, but not with a lot of, resources in the bank, trying to pivot and then fund the additional things that they had to do was creating some stress. So we know that we had to create this very clear pipeline. So I want, the people in the audience to know that when you reach out to the Urban League, it's not one cookie cutter thing. We very often have a lot of community partners like banking institutions and, some other state agencies, including Nassau County. I've done a lot of work with Lionel Chitty over the years and in his diverse hats. I've worked with, minority millennials. We very often will connect you and try to help you move through the process of ensuring that your business back-end operations are sustainable, that as you envision your growth and development and service to the community, that you can sustain that and connect you to the resources that you're going to need to grow. I will say that part of our vision as we're moving forward is to make sure that while we have this opportunity to pivot and to look at our communities different, there is definitely a lack of business resources in Black and Brown communities, including full service grocery stores, medical resources and institutions, banking and financial services. And those are markets, when you do a little bit of research as a business owner, and you start to look at the billions of dollars that are spent by Black and Brown people, you will see that there is a niche to grow a business in those communities. So I really look forward to engaging. We hold membership mixers at least 4 times a year where members can kind of get in front of some of these other business entities and introduce themselves. It's going virtual now, but look, it's not the end of the world. We are resilient people, all of us, and we have adjusted to this virtual life. And again, I thank the IDA and County Exec Laura Curran for having this webinar today. And I look forward to the additional questions that some of the attendees will be asking.
Thank you very much, President Sanders. Our last partner before we have New York State Empire State Development join us is Terry Arnold McKenzie, Program Manager of Ascend Long Island. Terry?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you. Thank you to the Nassau County IDA, the County Executive Laura Curran, and the Office for Minority Affairs for including us in this vital presentation. About Ascend Long Island. You can change the slide, Catherine. Thank you so much. Business training, Ascend Long Island is a business training program for diverse business owners on Long Island and Southeast Queens. We're funded by JP Morgan Chase, PSE&G, Northwell Health, and the Long Island Community Foundation in partnership with Hofstra University's Center for Suburban Studies and Bach Capital Corp. Our goal is to assist businesses with capacity building, MWBE certification, and becoming competitive for local, regional, and national contracting opportunities. The goals for Ascend Long Island are to create an ecosystem of support for diverse business owners on Long Island and Southeast Queens. We want to reduce wealth inequities between communities highly segregated by race. We want to increase access to capital and revenues for diverse businesses. And also our major component is to build a direct procurement pipeline of MBEs for anchor partners and other local, regional, and national organizations. So the criteria for our 2020 cohort, which will start, we're recruiting now and we'll be recruiting through the summer, and our cohort will start actually in September. We're recruiting up to 15 businesses with an annual revenue between 100,000 to up to 1 million plus. Another criteria is you have to be business to business or business to consumer who wants to move to a business to business model. But finally, we want to make sure that our cohort members contribute to the economic development of underserved communities on Long Island and Southeast Queens. That is very important for our program. If you want more information about the Ascend Long Island program, please reach out to me, or first you can go to our website, which is www.ascendli.com, or you can reach out to me. Here is my email and also my number and our social media pages as well. So thank you so much again for the IDA, County Executive Curran, the OMA, who does a wonderful work for our entrepreneurs of color. We are grateful to be here and look forward to all the questions that are coming from our participants. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terry, very much. Thank you again to all of our partners for their assistance in promoting this event. Now, I would like to introduce our guests from New York State Empire State Development. Today, we have Ryan Smith, Director of Business Development in the Division of Minority and Women's Business Affairs, and Rafael Salaberios, Senior Vice President in the Division of Small Business and Technology Development. First, I'll hand it over to Ryan to share some state resources, and then we'll hear from Rafael to discuss the Access to Capital program. Ryan?
Thank you for having me here today, and it's actually nice to see some of our familiar partners. So thanks again. This is a wonderful panel, and the partnerships are just very important, not only for what we're trying to do with the Division on Minority and Women's Business Development, but really for the overall economic development for New York State. So I'm going to be pretty brief. I'm just want to touch on a few that items related to the New York State MWBE certification. So basically, under Article 15A of the Executive Law, any for-profit firm that is at least 51% owned, operated, and controlled by one or more United States citizens or permanent resident aliens who are either a woman and or minority group member is eligible for certification. So again, it's just for-profit firms. Unfortunately, nonprofits are not eligible for our certification. And I won't read everything on the slide, but you can see the minority groups that are listed, and you will receive some of this information as well. But really, our certification is a little more than just the 51% ownership. You'll see on the screen, again, the ownership, operation, and control. Firm must be independently owned, operated, and controlled by minority and or women members. We do have a personal net worth restriction, but fortunately, last January of 2020, the net worth restriction is now has been increased to $15 million. So I know I certainly fall under that threshold. Hopefully everyone on the call does as well. There is a small business restriction for our certification, and as long as your firm has 300 employees or less, you will be eligible. But just keep in mind that does include full-time and part-time employees. And then, as I mentioned, independents, active and in business for 1 year. You just have to show that you're independent from any other organizations. And so one thing that you will need to prove, I don't know if we have any out-of-state firms, but everyone will have to basically just demonstrate that they are authorized to do business in New York State. And I won't read everything, but this information, it breaks it out between sole proprietor, partnerships, as well as corporations. And just keep in mind, if you are an out-of-state firm, you will have to register with the Department of State, and the information is on the bottom of the screen there for you. So we can move on to the benefits of getting, well, first, before we get to benefits, the application itself is free. You will go to the website that you see on the screen. It's just called the New York State Contract System. It will entail a good bit of documentation, but I know Lionel mentioned and several other of our partners that are on the call often help our small businesses with those certifications. So I always encourage, as you're applying, to reach out to those great resources that have been mentioned on the call. It's always nice to just get an extra set of eyes to review that documentation. So please take advantage of those resources. Many of them, or most of them, are zero cost. So, and some of these are a couple of the partners. Again, we've mentioned some of them on the call from earlier. Our entrepreneurship assistance centers. They help entrepreneurs with their new and startup businesses. They can also help you with the certification application, as well as the small business development centers, as well as the procurement technical assistance centers. I really encourage any small business to tap into these resources, whether you're getting certified with New York State or not. They really can provide a lot of great resources for your business. And we'll take a look at the benefits of getting certified. So, we often hear, well, I thought about getting certified, but really wasn't sure if it's really for me. So, there are quite a bit of benefits to getting New York State certified. As we mentioned earlier in the call, a lot of the economic development projects that are going to occur, not only in Nassau County, but throughout New York State, there might be opportunities that are targeting certified MWBEs to participate on those projects. So first and foremost, you're going to become a part of over 8,800 certified MWBE firms. And again, you'll be listed on the public directory of certified firms, and that's on the New York State contract system. But once you're certified, my team and I are going to help make sure that you are receiving notices on procurement opportunities, on various contracting opportunities throughout the state. You're really going to be part of a network. I think this is key. We mentioned it. Several of our partners have mentioned the importance of getting engaged and expanding your network. I can't emphasize that enough. We are really going to make sure once you're certified that you're going to have a direct link to a lot of these great partners throughout the state. And so we really recommend that you visit our website. All the information that I mentioned on here. We do a good job at keeping our website up to date. So if you have any questions, my contact information is going to be on the next slide. But I want to just also segue into our sister division at Empire State Development. They do a lot of work making sure our certified firms, as well as other small businesses, are really connecting to the access to capital programs that we offer. So I'm really pleased to hand it over to my colleague, Rafael Salaberios, to discuss a little bit more about some of those financial resources that you might be able to tap into.
All right. Thank you, everyone. My statement. Happy to have the opportunity to speak to you folks out here in Nassau. Okay. Thank you, County Executive, and Cap, and all coming up the time here. So I'm going to try to be as brief as possible. Oh, that's me. Can we go on to the next slide? I'm looking at myself. So my division, the Division of Small Business and Technology Development. The Division of Tech Development, basically small businesses throughout the state who are keen to grow their business and increase them. As small businesses, 98% of these in New York State and employ more than half of the New York State private. I'll go on to the next slide. I want to get quickly into how we try to help small business. So in the pandemic, hit that access to capital was going to be a paramount importance. And we always want to differentiate the New York program. because for a little bit, for payment, so if we have to do that. The New York Forward Loan Fund is with recovery. Small businesses with 50 or 5 million in sales are eligible for funding. The eligible loan amounts go to up to $100,000. Also, you do not receive a Paycheck Protection Program loan of greater than $500,000 or EIDL loan of more than $150,000. We've approved 835 loans, totaling $40.2 million. Percent 159 approved, totaling $8.1 million. And of the 159 loans approved on Island, 64% or $49 million of it has gone to MWBE funds. Because one of the things we want to target is make sure that we try to address the historical racial inequality in our financial systems by focusing on MWBE firms during difficult times. So Ryan had mentioned the opportunities for the MWBE throughout the state, and we have programs that we address and help for small businesses that want to work on New York State contract opportunities. The Bridge Success Loan Program is to provide short-term working capital loans to small businesses that want to work on a New York State contract. Example would be, I am an MWBE and I'm working on a contract with DASNY at $500,000. I may need $75,000 to $100,000. They say to help. And to be simple, we have 4 lenders. To date, Bridge Success has approved in excess of $32 million, in excess of 207 contracts. The interesting thing about Bridge Success is that, you know, but the Bridge Success has shown that that's not accurate. Of the $32 million in loans we've approved, less than 1% has gone bad. So this idea that MWBE has inherently, it's trying to put to bed and say that's not true. And our Bridge Success program is helping to do that. Our security bond assistance program, if you need bonding, many projects require you to have bonding. What we do is we will guarantee a bond up to 30% or 6%. To date, we've funded over $9. We have a multitude of programs that really help. They become trust funds that help MWBE get credit. The Menard Revolving Loan Fund, the Murphy Revolving Loan Program. All those funds really to get access on these funds. I want to take a moment, kind of go script here because I know I'm rushing through. I want to folks here myself. I think it's easy for you to reach me by cell. Number is 469-6493. So a lot of folks think I'm crazy. You have my phone number. So you can text me, email, you can call me, and I will definitely respond to any questions, concerns, because I've gone over a lot of information relative to the budget. So I contact information. The Small Business Revolving Loan Fund, that's a great fund, $42 million, 42,000 loans have been in excess of $257 million. That's small businesses throughout the state. The beauty is 85% of funds have gone to MWBE. So why don't we that I'm gonna I know I'm short time. I need to just look at myself. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Ray. I apologize. We had a little bit of technical difficulty hearing you. Ray did share his cell phone number, which we are happy to share with the audience today. Please feel free to email info@nassauida.org. We can also share the slides referring to Ray's Access to Capital program. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for your presentations. There are certainly a lot of state resources available for Nassau businesses to take advantage of. We would now like to open the floor for any questions from the audience. Please feel free to submit a question using the Q&A option on your computer or tablet. If we do not get to your question today, again, please submit your questions to info@nassauida.org, and we'll see to it that the panelists receive your question and are able to share an answer. Throughout the presentation, we did receive several questions. A few I would just like to answer. Someone had asked how you apply for the Boost Nassau program. I just want to remind everyone that you can go to boostnassau.net to apply. Someone, I believe it was Sharon, had reached out asking that she was questioning how to get in touch with National Development Council. Sharon will be in touch with you, but please also feel free to email info@nassauida.org, and we'll put you in touch with National Development Council directly. Looking in the queue to see if there's other questions. We did have a Howard ask, what are the primary goods and services that the county purchases from its vendors? I'll open that up to the panel. Perhaps Lionel, that might be a good question for you to answer.
Absolutely. Just like any government entity, which we've talked a lot about over the years, the government purchases just about everything, but the majority of it comes down to county contracting and our DPW for construction, and also our Parks Department, and also our Police Department and our Sheriff's Department. A lot of purchases are made. You just never know. I had somebody looking for a supermarket. You know, it could be tissue paper, it could be anything. So we try to just encourage people to go ahead, get registered into the system. If you're an MWBE, identify, we'll get you certified as an MWBE. But most importantly, once you get into the system, you need to make sure that you're keeping an eye on our solicitation board. That board gives you all the solicitations that come up when they open, and you go through the process of completing the bid package and submitting it. It's not easy, but we work diligently with our partners here at the county to make sure that we can walk people through that process. As Teresa Saunders mentioned, you know, we want to be able to give that extra help sometimes as far as the documentation goes. So we will be working on some seminars to address that. But again, county purchases just about everything. So I tell people you got to be in it to win it. And if you have any questions, give us a call.
Thank you, Lionel. Ray had asked that I share his cell phone. And his cell phone number is 646-599-6493. Again, that's Rafael Salaberios at Empire State Development, who can help you with the Access to Capital program. Another question that came in that's in the queue from Ms. Gonzalez, she had asked if the recording will be shared. I want to remind everyone that a recording of this webinar will be on our YouTube channel, which can be found at NassauIDA.org. Another question that's come in, does the county prioritize vendors who are MWBE certified for attainment of certain services and or products?
I can answer that for you, Catherine.
Thanks.
No problem. Right now, this goes back to the disparity study. County policy states that they try to make a good faith effort to encourage more minority and women-owned businesses to participate in a county contract. But at the end of the day, it will come down to best price and or best qualified vendor. This is why we're going through the practice of having the process of having a disparity study, so we can set firm, meaningful goals depending on the data retrieved by the consultant we hired to make firm goals moving forward. But again, don't let that discourage you whatsoever. Get in, learn the process, register with the county, because once the disparity study is completed and once those goals are set forth, all going well, we will have some significant, meaningful goals set forth. So do the best as you can. And again, you can reach out to us with any questions. We'll help you as much as we can.
Thank you, Lionel. Benjamin had asked, he said it takes several months to get certified as New York MWBE. Will there be a program to get interim certification? I don't know if Ryan?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, the difference really mainly with the New York State certification is due to the high demand. It definitely takes longer than your local certifications, whether that's New York City or Nassau County or one of the other municipalities. So there's no immediate plan for an interim certification. However, with our new executive director who just joined us, the second half of December. We are making additional steps to alleviate the backlog in our certification process. We're looking to, make additional streamlining efforts, as well as we're happy to announce that we're also about to start our another round of our certification assistance program. And what this is we are contracting with third parties to help us review those applications that are in the queue. So we're optimistic that some of the with our new leadership, as well as the new certification assistance program, that we can shorten that wait period for the New York State certification. But there's no plans for kind of a temporary or interim certification.
Thank you, Ryan. So with that, we are 6 minutes past the 10 o'clock mark. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. As a reminder, a recording of this webinar will be on the IDA's YouTube channel, NassauIDALive.org. And if you have any additional questions, please feel free to email them to info@nassauida.org. We hope everyone attending today found this seminar to be helpful, and we ask that you can follow all of our partners on social media to stay apprised of the latest resources. Thank you again to all the partners to make this webinar a success. Have a great day.